Good morning, children. I hope all of you are fine. So, stay at home and stay safe.
Children, so I will show a special thing today. I think all of you know which is the national animal of our country. Which one? Yeah, the same thing you can see here. Look here.
Look here. You can see the Bengal tiger here. See how huge and it looks. So you can see the stripes on its body and it looks so ferocious. And today we are going to study a poem, A Tiger in the Zoo by Leslie Norris. So, see the tiger and let's enjoy the poem. Hi everyone. Now let's move on to the poem A Tiger in the Zoo by Leslie Norris. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the waterhole where plump deer pass. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage. Ignoring visitors, he hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So this is the poem, and let's see what the poet is saying about this. What's the meaning of this poem? And this poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with the tiger in its natural habitat. It is the natural habitat. Yeah, that's the forest. And this poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and again back to the zoo. And in the zoo, this tiger has no freedom. He is kept in a cemented cell behind the bars. And he feels angry, frustrated, and helpless. And this reminds him of his natural habitat, which was the forest. He is hiding and sliding in the long grass near the waterhole and pouncing upon the fat deer. And the way he terrorized the villages, he frightened the villagers and displaying his sharp teeth and claws. At night in the zoo, he hears the sounds of the patrolling cars and the cars which are moving around. The tiger in the zoo appears helpless as a mere showpiece and a source of entertainment, a joyful thing to people. The poet wants to convey that it is cruel to keep wild animals in small cages in the zoo. So they should be kept. They should be allowed to move freely in their natural habitat. And they feel angry, helpless, and unhappy if they are kept in the cage. And here he pays no attention. Means the tiger pays no attention to the visitors who come to watch him. And in silence of the night, he stares at the brilliant stars with his bright eyes, thinking of his freedom. He always want to enjoy the freedom. So this is the theme of the poem, and we can go through the explanation of each stanza here. Let's see the poem in detail. So the first stanza. He stalks in his vivid stripes a few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. Here, stalks means walks. Vivid means bright. Stripes means there is a lines that you can see on the body of the tiger. Pads means food base, and rage means anger. Here, a tiger in a zoo is described in these lines, and that tiger is very calm and quiet. He walks with calculated steps in that restricted space of this cage. Cage, there only restricted space. So in that space, that tiger is walking, and his paws are soft, and he has a quietness about him, though he is known for his rage and wilderness. This tiger, it is a ferocious animal, and it seems to be angry most of the time. So even though it is like that, but because of the restriction of the space in the cage, it seems to be quiet. Next stanza. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the waterhole where plump deer pass. Here, lurking means lying in wait, waiting for something. Shadow means that is the shade of an object. Plump means slightly fat. In this stanza, this tiger is supposed to be moving in shadow without anyone's notice. It should slide behind tall bushes or near the waterhole where its prey arrives to drink water. Prey means the food of that tiger. It may be deer or any such animals. That is the prey. So the tiger is waiting there in the shadow for the prey who come to drink water. Next stanza, third stanza. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. Here, snarling means it is the growling with teeth bar, and edge means cutting slide of a blade, and baring means to show or to expose. Fangs means a tooth by which an animal seizes and holds. Terrorizing, that means scaring someone, and claws means that is the sharp curved nails of an animal. In this stanza, the tiger seems to be in the forest. The tiger in a forest secretly moves around the houses at the edge of the jungle. His tooth and claws bring a fear in the minds of the village, who dare not step out at night. That's the meaning you can see in this third stanza. Now let's see the fourth stanza. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind the bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Concrete means hard and strong building material, and strength means power. Ignore means to refuse deliberately. Here, the poet looks at the tiger in a zoo, and he is concerned about the loss of his natural instincts. While a tiger in his natural habitat is fearsome, the one in the zoo is calm and quiet, locked in his cell. you know, when you see the tiger in a forest, it seems to be so uh, fearsome. But if it is locked in a cell or in a cage, there it seems to be calm and quiet. That's the contrast you can see in this poem. And here his strength is locked within his cage and he just moves within its enclosed space. He never gets sufficient space to move around. But in the forest, it seems to be wandering almost all places. But here only little space, and because of that restriction is there, and because of that the tiger seems to be calm and quiet. But in the forest it seems to be a ferocious animal, seems to be a fearsome animal. And the last stanza in this poem is: he hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Here, patrol means to roam around. Here, the cars are roaming around, right? Then, stare. Stare means to look at very concentratingly. Here, the description is about the tiger kept in a zoo. Being locked in a cage, the tiger has lost its natural instinct. It never get any freedom like as in the forest. It does not look fearsome where in the cage, but it looks fearsome where in the forest. It does not look fearsome, though it has sharp teeth and claws. When the appearance is not changing, but it never looks fearsome inside the cage. It does not hide behind the bushes to attack its prey. Here only limited space, and what the caretaker gives that food only this tiger can eat. But it never want to attack a prey. That's why it seems to be calm and quiet inside. Rather, it leads a quiet life and walks softly within his enclosed. Leslie Norris. George Leslie Norris was a prize-winning Welsh poet and short story writer. He taught at academic institutions in Britain and United States, including Brigham Young University. Norris is considered one of the most important Welsh writers of the post-war period, and his literary publications have won many prizes. Meanings. Vivid. Vivid means bright. Rage means anger. Snarls. Snarls means makes an angry or warning sound. Fangs. Fangs means a tooth by which an animal seizes and holds. Claws. Sharp curved nails of an animal. Patrol. Patrol means to roam around. Write all these meanings in your notebook and study. Now let's see the poetic devices used in this poem. Here you see we already studied alliteration. In this poem also you can see alliteration. Here first line, he stalks in his vivid stripes. Here stalks, there stalks begins with s sound, and same way stripes that also begins with s sound. So you can see alliteration in this line, stalks and stripes, repetition of same sound, that is alliteration. And another alliteration you can see in this poem is that is in fourth stanza, his strength behind bars, and here behind begins with burst sound and also bars begins with burst sound. So here also alliteration is applied. What is the poetic device used here? Alliteration. Alliteration. Okay. Alliteration means repetition of same sound. And that is one poetic device used here. And another poetic device used here is that is imagery. That is a literary device, and that is imagery is used here. So let's see which one. Here, lurking in shadow, and also sliding through, and plump deer. All these things gives us an image, a picture of something. So when we hear or read particular lines in a poem or any lines, then if you get an idea or a picture, or if you feel the sense of sight, hearing, taste, touch, etc., then you can say there the poetic device imagery is used. What is that? Imagery is the poetic device used. Imagery is the poetic device used here. So imagery means it is one of the poetic device or literary devices that engage the human senses, sight, hearing, taste and touch, and also it represents object, action and idea which appeal our senses. So that's about imagery. So what are the imageries used here? Lurking in shadow, sliding through, plump deer. And here the phrase lurking in shadow creates a word picture of some danger hovering for the animal who has come to drink water. That is the prey of the tiger. Which one? Deer and such animals. And other such words pictures are sliding through, means moving in particular manner, and plump deer means the deer which is slightly fat. So these are the imageries used here, and these are the poetic device, alliteration and imagery. They are the poetic device used in this poem. Your today's activities, you should do the assessment 12 given in the description box, and also you write that in the notebook.